Hear me out for a second. One of the things that introvert suffers the most is having small talks. It's not like you hate people, but it's just that you don't know what to say after the first hi or how are you. That makes you go into an overthinking loop in your head. You're just constantly thinking about what's the best thing to say, what's the right thing to say. And at the end, what happens is an awkward silence between two people. Imagine this. I'm filling a water bottle in the kitchen of the office. Suddenly, John walks in. He asks me, "Hey Omkar, how are you?" I would say, "Hi John, I'm doing great. How are you?" He said, "Thanks, I'm doing good as well." That's it. End of the conversation. There is an awkward pause between two of you. It's not like you have nothing to say in your head, but on the opposite, you have a lot of things to say in your head. You're constantly thinking about what's the best thing to say or what's the right next line to say. But what end up happening is you both spend next 20 seconds in an awkward silence and you both kind of say bye to each other awkwardly and go back to your desks. Has it happened to you before? Another example is you see a group of people talking about something. You wanted to go and talk to the people as well, but you say to yourself, I'll join in 1 minute. Or maybe even if you join, but you kind of just nodding, smiling, agreeing to people. And that's it, end of group discussion. But later in your head for the whole day, you're thinking about, I could have said this thing, or I should have said that thing, which would have made me an effective communicator, or it would have come up to me as a confident communicator. I'm sure that's what have happened to you as well. And this situation not only shows up at university or at your work, it would be anywhere. Even if you go for a shopping in a clothing store, there will always be somebody who's trying to do the small talk. And if you don't respond properly, it makes things awkward for you as well as the next person. So in this video, I'm going to give you a systematic framework, which is called the calm framework. And just like the name suggests, it will make you calm in every small talk situation. And you don't have to overthink at all. It's like having that tool in your back pocket, which is always ready for having the small talk after this framework. And before we jump into the framework, let's take a step back and try to understand the psychological effect of why small talk is important. It's not like you have nothing to say or it makes things awkward for you, but it has a bigger impact on your personality. If you think that small talks makes you awkward, you start to believe that I'm really bad at small talks, or I'm not a good communicator, or people just don't like me personally. But that's not the case. Once you understand this technique of having the small talk, you can have meaningful connections with anyone just like that. So trust me, watch this video until the very end and you will have that framework in your back pocket. Now in this calm framework, first C stands for comment. What I mean by that is you just have to make a comment about the situation. You're not performing a task or you're not going through a checklist of the things. You're just commenting. For example, you attended a lecture with your friend and the lecture was longer than you expected. When you come back, you can just say, do you feel that the lecture was longer than usual? Or if you're in a meeting, you can say that, do you think that the meeting was longer than I expected? So make sure to comment next time you have to have a small talk after a meeting or after a class. Now moving on, A stands for asking questions. These questions are low effect and open-ended questions. You're not looking for a particular answer, you're not looking for an agenda, or you're not having a list of questions. You just have to ask some simple open-ended question. Let me tell you a quick difference between open-ended and closed-ended question. So closed-ended question usually just finish off with yes or no. But on the other hand, open-ended questions opens a long opportunity of having a conversation. Few of the examples of having an open-ended question is, how do you feel after having the meeting? Do you think that it was impactful? What do you think of the communicator? What do you think of the lecturer? What do you think of the professor? The answer to this question wouldn't be yes or no. It will give you more topic to talk about. So always remember to ask low effort, open-ended question. Now L stands for listening. This is very important, and especially introvert people are really great at it. You just have to listen to what other people are saying, listen to their mood, listen to their words, and that's how you have to reciprocate. If you listen that they are very energetic answering that question, you can say that sounds exciting. Tell me more about it. Or if they are sad while answering that question, you can say that must be frustrating. Please tell me more about it. You just have to look at the emotions lying underneath their expressions. That is L, stands for listening in the calm framework. And now my favorite, M. Make it short and exit the conversation without being awkward. This is very important because small talk means you talk for less than a minute and then you smoothly exit out from the conversation. If you start to stretch too much, even other person can see that you're stretching the topic a lot without being necessary. So how do you exit in a polite way? You can say that, okay, I have something to do. I'll go back to my desk and I'll catch you soon. Or thanks for your time. I have to grab a coffee. I'll go back. So with this way, you're not only engaging in the conversation, you're exiting the conversation smoothly as well, which is equally important. This will leave that person with a lot of impact and good expression by talking to you. Remember that confidence is not staying longer in the conversation. It's about exiting the conversation without making it awkward, so that next time the person sees you, he's equally interested to talk to you than before. The science behind small talk is you don't have to be interesting at all times. You just have to be present in the moment without pressure, not only on yourself, but on the other person. And the 5 magical words which have worked for me every time if I'm in the small talk is, tell me more about it. That's it. If you ask this 5 question, it will always make things interesting for the receiver, because that person will think that you're really interested in the topic they're talking about. So if you cannot think about anything, you can say, tell me more about it. These are kind of the 5 magical words which have worked for me all the time. Now, if you're an introvert, it's not a bad thing that you cannot have small talks. It's just having those right set of habits and right set of tools in your back pocket, and always be ready, because preparation is always better than awkward silences. If you like my video, send it to your friends who wants to excel at small talks, and I'll see you in the next video.